The Senate will come to order. I ask everyone present to please rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pastor Luis Ivan Echandia of the Lutheran Church of the Epiphany in Hempstead, New York, will deliver today's invocation. Pastor?
Divine Creator, Father and Mother of us all, as we gather here today to fulfill our duties to the people of our great state, we humbly seek your blessings and guidance. In this diverse assembly, representing various beliefs and backgrounds, we are reminded of the values of tolerance, unity, and brotherhood among different ethnic groups. Let us embrace our differences as strength that enrich our collective journey. We invoke the spirit of peace, shalom, salam, asha, namaste, and the universal message of harmony and understanding that transcends all divisions. May our discussions be characterized by respect and empathy, our decision guided by fairness and equity, and our actions reflect the ideals of a united and inclusive society. In your name, we offer these prayers for tolerance, unity, and brotherhood. Amen.
Reading of the journal.
In Senate, Tuesday, May 7, 2024, the Senate met pursuant to adjournment. The journal of Monday, May 6, 2024 was read and approved. On motion, the Senate adjourned.
Without objection, the journal stands approved as read. Presentation of petitions. Messages from the Assembly. The Secretary will read.
Senator Salazar moves to discharge from the Committee on Health Assembly Bill number 7691, substituted for the identical Senate Bill 7617, third reading calendar 387. Senator Chu moves to discharge from the Committee on Codes Assembly Bill number 8425, substituted for the identical Senate Bill 8934, third reading calendar 791. Senator Kruger moves to discharge from the Committee on Environmental Conservation Assembly Bill number 4943A, substituted for the identical Senate Bill 4414A, third reading calendar 816.
So ordered. Messages from the Governor. Report to standing committees. Report to select committees. Communications and reports from state offices. Motions and resolutions. Senator Gianaris.
Good afternoon. Good morning, Mr. President. On behalf of Senator Stavisky, on page 48, I offer the following amendments to calendar 721, Senate 7808, and ask that said bill retain its place on the third reading calendar.
The amendments are received and those bills retain their place in the third reading calendar. Senator Gianaris.
Can we now take up previously adopted resolution 1984 by Senator Thomas, read its title, and recognize Senator Thomas.
Secretary will read.
Resolution 1984 by Senator Thomas, commemorating the 125th anniversary of the Lutheran Church of the Epiphany.
Senator Thomas on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to pay tribute to a cherished cornerstone of our community in my Senate district, the Lutheran Church of the Epiphany, as it celebrates its remarkable 125th anniversary. I want to recognize and thank Reverend Luis Echandia for doing the opening prayer and for bringing members of your congregation up to Albany here today. Hey, Hempstead. Throughout my tenure as state senator, I've had the privilege of meeting and getting to know many of the dedicated members of the Lutheran Church and have seen the positive impact the church has on Hempstead firsthand. For over a century, it has remained a place where people from all walks of life come together to find solace, support, and spiritual nourishment. From its early days on farmlands to the buzzing center of Nassau County that Hempstead has become, the church has remained a steadfast presence, offering solace, support, and a sense of belonging to generations of residents. Whether through youth programs, their commitment to social justice, or their unwavering support for those in need, the Lutheran Church of the Epiphany has consistently exemplified the best of what it means to be a caring and compassionate community. They provide shelter and food to those in need, offer counseling and support during difficult times, or simply being a place where people can come together in fellowship and prayer. The church has been a beacon of hope and compassion in our town. The church and its legacy of service, compassion, and community building will continue to inspire us for generations to come. They have surely left a mark on Hempstead and Nassau County. Therefore, it is with great honor that I introduce this resolution commemorating its 125th anniversary, and God bless. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Thomas. To our guests, I welcome you on behalf of the Senate. We extend to you all of the privileges and courtesies of this House. Please rise and be recognized. The resolution was adopted on on March 19th. Senator Gianaris.
Mr. President, let's move on to previously adopted Resolution 2348 by Senator Ramos. Read that resolution's title and recognize Senator Ramos.
Secretary Reed.
Resolution 2348 by Senator Ramos, memorializing Governor Kathy Hochul to proclaim May 1st, 2024 as May Day in the state of New York.
Senator Ramos on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. You know, on May 1st every year, the international community celebrates workers. And the labor movement was actually founded on this premise that workers have to demand their own safety at their job sites. Tired of being killed, injured, and forced to work in dangerous conditions, workers took to the streets and organized to make demands of their employers. This demand is the origin of child labor laws, the workers' compensation system, temporary disability insurance, and so many safeguards that we rely on and have been working on improving as a conference in this body. The reality is that despite all of our efforts, trying to earn a paycheck is steadily becoming more hazardous for New Yorkers working in the private sector than ever before. Since 2019, our workplace injury rates have steadily increased at a rate of roughly 25% higher than the national average. Nearly 200,000 workers are injured annually in New York. New York workplace fatalities have averaged 250 annually over the past decade and more than 10% greater than in the first decade of this century. When you look closer at specific sectors, the data is even more grisly. Nail salon workers experience reproductive health issues, pregnancy complications, and birth defects at a rate significantly higher than the national average. There's 1 injury for every 11 warehouse workers, and that number increases every year in New York as well. Immigrant workers, particularly Latino workers, hold more than a third of the jobs in these high-risk workplaces, and it has to stop. An injured worker isn't an island. That pain ripples into their entire community. It can drastically alter the course of a person's life. So on this May Day, I'm humbly asking this body to commit to this worker safety agenda and a series of bills to strengthen preventive worker safety and bolster existing infrastructure. The Warehouse Worker Injury Reduction Act, the Nail Salon Minimum Standards Act, TEMP, the Retail Worker Safety Act, the Wage Theft Deterrence Package, Workers' Comp Reform, and so much more. I dedicate this resolution to a near future where every worker can return home to their family at the end of the day. I vote aye. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Ramos. The resolution was previously adopted on May 7th. Senator Gianaris.
Now let's take up previously adopted Resolution 1811 by Senator Griffo. Read that resolution's title and recognize Senator Griffo.
Secretary Reed.
Resolution 1811 by Senator Griffo, memorializing Governor Kathy Hochul to proclaim May 2024 as Lupus Awareness Month in the state of New York.
Senator Griffo on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have done this annually, and we continue to try to raise awareness and to educate people about lupus, which is a chronic inflammatory autoimmune disease that affects over 5 million people across the globe, over 1.5 million Americans, and 105,000 people here in the state of New York. Thousands of people are diagnosed with lupus each year, the majority of them being women and young people in the prime of their lives. There's no cure, unfortunately, at this stage, but the research continues. And unfortunately, we continue to lose thousands of lives each year to lupus. But there are many significant initiatives and much work that needs to be done, not only to raise awareness about this debilitating disease, but hopefully one day to find a cure. I want to express my appreciation to some of the individuals who are with us in the gallery today, some of them my constituents who have joined us, particularly Kathleen and David Armson, who are here from the Lupus and Allied Disease Association, and Dr. Maria Conaritas, who is from the Masonic Medical Research Institute in Utica, who are doing extraordinary work in a number of ways. And yes, Senator Gianaris, she is Greek. But Kathleen and David, along with their organization, have been important advocates over the years for those with lupus. And Dr. Conaritas is doing extraordinary work with her talented team to explore more and undertake the research on this and to hopefully help us find that cure that has been so elusive. Their efforts and those of other organizations, such as other lupus agencies across the state of New York, have improved the quality of life for those suffering from lupus. So I hope this resolution that we have done each and every year helps to raise that awareness, create more interest, and to allow them to allocate resources that are necessary not only to talk about this disease, but to confront this disease and understanding the crippling effects this disease has upon people's lives. So I think that is an effort that we have undertaken and will continue to do, and I'm hopeful that we will one day not only be able to comfort people, but to find the cure that will eliminate this autoimmune disease. So with that, Mr. President, I know Senator Parker and I have worked on this, and I appreciate him and his work too in calling attention and awareness. So I will yield now, and then we can recognize the individuals in the gallery, perhaps.
Thank you, Senator Griffo. Senator Parker on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to add my voice to Senator Griffo. We've been partners in many, many things, actually, but certainly this has been one of the most important things that we've done. If folks don't know, lupus is a autoimmune disease that affects over, almost about 2 million people nationwide, and certainly represents several thousand here in our great state. This is a disease, as you heard from Senator Griffo, that is chronic, that in fact has no cure at the moment, in which people are suffering great deals of discomfort and pain. One of the worst, there's two things that are really diabolical about this condition. One of which is that it manifests differently in different people, right? And so it's very difficult to kind of understand in that way. And then the second thing is that it goes unnoticed and undetected for such a long time. And even when people go in to their doctor to complain about the symptoms, oftentimes the doctors don't know what to do about it. And in fact, so much that when the doctor that you probably most often go to if you unfortunately are suffering with lupus is a rheumatologist, right? To deal with the pain. Not somebody who's actually trying to cure you, but somebody who's just simply trying to give you, a remission from the discomfort that you're having. We have to do better. And I'm proud to say that I have worked with several organizations to do a number of things, including put more money in the budget. And so we, as a state legislature over the last 5 or 6 years, have significantly added the money in the budget around lupus and around autoimmune diseases in general. But there's still a lot more that needs to be done, a lot more research, a lot more awareness. There are a lot of people across our communities who are suffering with this. This is also particularly a problem in Black and Latino and Asian communities where you see it disproportionately higher incidences of lupus, but also higher incidences of it being misdiagnosed and underdiagnosed, which has oftentimes cost people their lives. And so I stand here in support of all those lupus warriors, those who many times adorning the purple butterflies, they call it. There's a malar rash that oftentimes develop on the faces at some point or another for about half of the people who experience lupus. And they say it looks like a butterfly, so that has become a symbol for lupus warriors across the nation, and banding together to support one another through this agonizing disease. And so, as I rise today, I call on all of you to all of us just kind of put our hands to this, put our minds to this, put our energy towards battling this disease of really curing something that we really should be able to figure out, and to make sure that we give it both the time, the attention, and most importantly, the resources that it needs in order for us to deal with it. I want to again thank Senator Griffo for bringing this resolution to the floor, and looking forward to welcoming our guests. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Parker. To our guests, I welcome you on behalf of the Senate. We extend to you all of the privileges and courtesies of this House. Please rise and be recognized. The resolution was previously adopted on February 13th. Senator Gineris.
Let me just add, Mr. President, that I hope Dr. Kenneris had a wonderful Easter, and I appreciate the work that she and the whole team are doing up there. At the request of the sponsors of the resolutions we took up today, they are all open for co-sponsorship.
The resolutions are open for co-sponsorship. Should you choose not to be a co-sponsor, please notify the desk. Senator Gineris.
I have another motion here on behalf of Senator Brisport on page 56 for the following amendments to Calendar 826, Senate 7353, and ask that said bill retain its place on the third reading calendar.
The amendments are received and the bill will retain its place on the third reading calendar. Senator Gineris.
Please take up today's calendar.
Secretary Reed.
Calendar number 246, Senate Print 7555 by Senator Rhodes. An act authorizing the Friendship Engine and Hose Company to file an application for exemption from real property taxes.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 55.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 337, Senate Print 992B by Senator Hoyman Siegel, an act to amend the Environmental Conservation Law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act take effect December 31st, 2025.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to Calendar 337, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Borrello, Griffo, and Oberacker. Ayes 52, nays 3.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 342, Senate Print 4198B by Senator Comrie, an act to enact the New York Wildlife Crossing Act.
Read the last section.
Section 7, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to Calendar 342, voting in the negative are Senators Gallivan, Oberacker, Ort, and Steck. Ayes 51, nays 4.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 387, Assembly number 7961 by Assembly Member Rosenthal, an act to amend the public health law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Giannaris Kruger, Ort, Stewart-Cousins, White.
Senator Murray to explain his vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to rise to thank my friend Senator Salazar for working on this with us. This actually will go very far in saving lives. This was the need for this bill was because of an unintended consequence of a previous bill that also had very good intentions. But because of the language in that previous bill, it prohibited certain larger counties, such as my county, Suffolk, Nassau, Westchester, from implementing policy that would allow police, firefighters, EMS to carry with them epinephrine injectors. And as everyone knows, in a case of anaphylactic shock, every single second counts. So allowing this to happen now, by passing this legislation today, we will allow, for example, in Suffolk County, my good friend, Suffolk legislator Dominic Thorne has a bill that passed that will now allow this to happen. So by passing this, we can allow that to happen, and in doing so, we'll now save lives. So thank you, Senator Salazar, for your help on this, and I urge everyone to please vote yes. Thank you.
Senator Murray to be recorded in the affirmative. Announce the results.
Ayes 56.
Bills passed.
Calendar number 404, Senate Print 8138A by Senator Sanders, an act creating a temporary state commission to study and investigate how to regulate artificial intelligence.
Read the last section.
Section 6, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Dabo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Sewell-Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 56.
Bills passed.
Calendar number 538, Senate Print 5331A by Senator Harkam, an act to amend the Environmental Conservation Law.
Read the last section.
Section 4, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Dabo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Sewell-Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 538, those senators voted in the negative are Senators Ashby, Borrello, Gallivan, Griffo, Viterra, Murray, Oberacker, Ort, Steck, and Tedisco. Ayes 46, nays 10.
The bills passed.
Calendar number 637, Senate Print 3024B by Senator Comrie, an act to amend the not-for-profit corporation law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Dabo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Sewell-Cousins, White.
Excuse me. Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 637, voted in the negative, Senator Martinez. Ayes 55, nays 1.
The bills passed.
Calendar number 791, Assembly number 8425 by Assemblymember Borges, an act to amend the penal law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Sewell-Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 56.
The bills passed.
Calendar number 794, Senate Print 2820 by Senator Skoufis, an act to amend the highway law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Sewell-Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 794, voted in the negative, Senator Brisport. Ayes 55, nays 1.
The bills passed.
Calendar number 803, Senate Print 4636 by Senator May, an act to amend the general municipal law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect on the 60th day and shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Sewell-Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 803, voted in the negative, Senator Palumbo. Ayes 55, nays 1.
The bills passed.
Calendar number 804, Senate Print 6244A by Senator Thomas, an act authorizing the town of Hempstead to transfer ownership of certain parkland to the village of Freeport.
There is a home rule message at the desk. Read the last section.
Section 6, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Sewell-Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 56.
The bills passed.
Calendar number 816, Assembly number 4943A by Assemblymember Epstein, an act to amend the Environmental Conservation Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Sewell-Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 816, voted in the negative, Senator Oberacker. Ayes 55, nays 1.
Bills passed.
Calendar number 852, Senate Print 5728A by Senator Harkam, an act to amend the Environmental Conservation Law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 120th day and shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Sewell-Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 56.
Bills passed.
Calendar number 853, Senate Print 7086B by Senator Harkam, an act to amend the Environmental Conservation Law.
Read the last section.
Section 70, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Sewell-Cousins, White.
Announce the results.
Ayes 57.
Bills passed.
Calendar number 854, Senate Print 8356A by Senator May, an act to amend the Environmental Conservation Law.
Read the last section.
Section 5, this act shall take effect 1 year after it shall become a law.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Gianaris, Kruger, Ort, Sewell-Cousins, White.
Senator May to explain her vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. Last year, my district expanded to include 4 Finger Lakes, and I found that when I went to community meetings or door-to-door, the number 1 issue on people's minds was water quality. And the number one threat to water quality that they were concerned about was harmful algal blooms. Harmful algal blooms threaten drinking water, they threaten recreation and tourism, they're dangerous to animals and human health, and generally to the quality of life in and around lakes and other water bodies. And even though they're visible and often smelly, there is actually a lot we don't know about harmful algal blooms, or HABs, in New York State. So this bill, the Harmful Algal Bloom Monitoring and Prevention Act, or HAB-MAP, will give us tools to understand, to monitor, and to study harmful algal blooms, and to create a database and a grant program for municipalities to work on preventing and mitigating HABs. So on behalf of my district and all of us who represent beloved water bodies or shorelines, I thank my colleagues for supporting this bill, and I vote aye.
Senator May to be recorded in the affirmative. Senator Webb to explain her vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise also to support this legislation. Thank you, Senator May, for bringing forth this important legislation. Over the summer, we had an opportunity to do a tour of Cayuga Lake, which is in my district in Tompkins County, which is one of the largest Finger Lakes in the region. And this lake provides drinking water to over 100,000 people across the region, and is also a very popular summer destination for residents and tourists who visit the lake for recreation, swimming, and boating, just to name a few activities. The health of the lake has most certainly been impacted by climate change, warming temperatures, extreme weather, all of which increase runoff into the lake. And as Senator May already alluded to, with regards to harmful algal blooms, these continue to increase in this particular water body and others as well, and it poses significant health risks to people and animals through ingestion, also skin contact, and also inhalation. And so this legislation will ensure that the DEC develops a program to actually standardize data collection on this issue, but also doing analysis and establishing an interagency HABs fund and grant program to support the critical efforts of municipalities, intermunicipal organizations to monitor, evaluate, prevent, and mitigate harmful algal blooms. Again, I thank Senator May for her leadership on this very important public health and environmental issue, and I also thank the Majority Leader for bringing this package of environmental bills to the floor. I vote aye, and I encourage my colleagues to do the same. Thank you.
Senator Webb to be recorded in the affirmative. Senator Mannion to explain his vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank Senator May for her advocacy on this issue. It's just so critical that we have a better coordinated process out there. We're fortunate to have really experts in the field as it relates to harmful algal blooms, our changing climate, and beyond. And I want to take a minute to commend our local lake associations, our small municipalities, and our higher ed institutions in working with all entities of government to make sure that we are preemptively addressing this issue. Really, they are the front lines, and in my conversation, and I'm sure Senator Webb, Senator Mays, and others, is that they are looking for assistance. They are looking for the state to be there to just make their advocacy even more efficient. So I commend Senator May for this. I look forward to the good actions that are going to happen from the good of this bill. Thank you, Mr. President. I proudly vote aye.
Senator Mannion to be recorded in the affirmative. Announce the results.
Ayes 58.
The bill is passed. Senator Gianaris, that completes the reading of today's calendar.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of Majority Leader Stuart Cousins, I hand up the following committee assignments of the Majority Conference and ask that it be filed in the Journal.
The handout is received and shall be filed in the Journal.
Is there any further business at the desk?
There is no further business at the desk.
Let me remind my colleagues on the majority side, we're going immediately into the majority conference room for some conference activity. And with that, I move to adjourn until Monday, May 13th at 3 p.m. with the intervening days being legislative
Majority
days.
members will return to conference for conference activity. On motion, the Senate stands adjourned until Monday, May 13th at 3 p.m. with the intervening days being legislative days. Hey, Julian.